What is going on, champions? This is Miguel, and today I'm going to show you how you stand or your boxing stance. All right, as you can see here, I'm going to use there's some painter's tape I put on the floor here. Hopefully you can see that. So what I'm going to essentially show you first is how you stand in terms of boxing. I'm going to show you the right-handed or orthodox or conventional stance, which is your right hand dominant side. So what I'm going to do is, you see the line here is in the form of an X. I'm going to take my left foot and step right toward that line, not touching it. I'm going to be on the left side of that line. And again, you see that X there, kind of like a window. I'm going to take my back foot, bring it about 45 degrees outward. And I want my heel close to that same line. So that line that's vertically in front of me is right toward the center line of my body. So we can stay in that. What I want you to do next is bend the knees slightly. You want a little bit of a bend here. Now for your beginners, you want to stay set on your feet here, work on that balance when you're throwing your punches so that you get that center of balance through your legs and up through the chain and finishing with those punches. If you're a little bit more experienced, you start getting used to the stance, you can raise that back heel up on that side. Again, we're going to get into the upper portion of our stance now. So what that is we're going to take our elbows and we're going to squeeze our elbows in toward the ribs. Again, this is from the beginner's perspective here, so you want to stay nice and guarded, and you want to turn your wrist in just a little bit, make a nice fist, keep that elbows in position. This is your defensive position. Again, maintaining that knee bend, bracing that core just in case we got any punches coming back at you. You want to be able to brace yourself for that. So again, boxing stance. I have my right hand here by the chin and the left hand that you can bring it down just a little slightly or bring it up for a high guard depending on the situation. You want to keep that left side loose because that's the arm you're going to be using that jab with. So you want to keep it nice and loose. Now when we get to the hand part of your stance, you want to think about like how you're holding two eggs here. You want to keep it nice and loose until the point of impact with your punch. Now when you do deliver your punch, you want to tighten up that fist. So as you're delivering that punch, I want to make that nice flex right there. Again, maintaining the stance with the knees bent, elbows in tight, guarding your torso, keeping the hands up, and then firing those punches and returning them right back into that stance. Now for your southpaw or your lefties, we're going to switch our stance. So very simply, you want to take that right foot, make that your lead foot. You want to step forward in that front line there, kind of staying on the front quadrant of that box or that X. And again, I'm going to take my back foot 45 degrees out on the left side, plant that foot down. If you're a beginner, you want to sink down into your stance first. Now, find your center from there. That's why it's good to have something like a box, just to kind of see where your stance is and where your center of balance should be. Again, I'm going to be here in my boxing stance with my elbows in tight, hands are up. Since I'm lefty now, or southpaw, my left hand is going to be right here by the chin. The right hand is down just a little bit so I can let that jab off a little bit, and I can quickly raise my hand up into a high guard if I need it. Again, knees are bent. Now when you become more comfortable with that stance, you're able to shift that weight when you throw your punches. You can take that back heel, raise it up slightly to give you a little bit more of a challenge and a little bit more of a push off when you're delivering those jabs, those crosses. It'll allow you to turn your body into those punches. But again, going back to that stance, you want to get that right foot in front of you. I like to turn my toes in a little bit on that southpaw stance. I'm a southpaw myself. Again, you got to keep that back heel elevated, or if you need a little bit more help for balance, you just kind of plant that foot down, sit down into your punches, and you can fire off on the bag or get into pad work. Again, if you are getting more advanced and you want to start moving around, shadow boxing, or eventually start sparring, you need to keep that back heel up and allow some freedom of movement into your stance.